The Thunder are one of the 3 greatest teams ever.
Ever?
Yep.
What you talking about, Will?
How you come up with that? Devon, you agree with that?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you believe that the 2017 Warriors are better? Yeah,
All
no.
right.
They're both
So-
better than the Thunder. They're both better than Thunder.
No, they're
That's
not.
ridiculous.
Based off net defensive ratings, net
lie.
offensive rating.
They have to get past the Spurs. You don't think they'll lose a game to the Spurs? Do you not
No.
believe that that's going to happen?
Whoever they play in the finals, they're sweeping. For me, frankly, I don't really think pressure even exists.
Don't think
It's
it
kind of-
exists. Why do some people fall apart then? I mean,
You answered your own question.
a pressure is not fake, but neither is what it does to a person. Everybody wants greatness until they see what it costs. Everybody wants greatness until they see what it costs. Welcome to What Your Mama Didn't Tell You. And today we're talking about breaking under pressure. So let's just get into it. Why do some athletes completely fall apart when the pressure gets high?
I think there's generally a couple of reasons. I think a lot of the times people consider the pressure to be high in like playoff situations. So you're definitely facing tougher competition. In the regular season, you play like half the teams you're playing aren't going to make the playoffs normally, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. In the regular season, you're playing good teams in the postseason, you're playing good teams all the time. In addition to that, I think also coaching can be a factor. I think some coaches are better at adjusting to things in the postseason, which puts their players in better situations to succeed. Obviously, there's also the environment factor. The playoffs in most sports, specifically football, are home versus away can have a very big impact on the state of the game. So that can also play a part. The same is true in the NBA to a lesser extent. And yeah, I mean, I think that's mainly what it is. I think at that level, it's less about the individual's ability to perform, although sometimes that plays a factor. I think mostly it's the circumstances.
I think pressure is something that's kind of like baked into you over time. Like, I think you just get more comfortable with pressure. I don't think pressure gets easier, pressure changes. And for me, frankly, I don't really think pressure even exists. So I think
Don't think
it's
it
kind of
exists.
yeah, I don't think it exists. I think it's all mental. And I think essentially when we talk about it with athletes, it's just how much are they thinking about the moment? How much is the moment like here? Like you're like, how much did they prepare? Like, because if you've prepared and you get to the moment, then whatever you're gonna do what you do. And if you make it, you make it. If you miss it, you miss. If you get the touchdown, you get the touchdown. If you don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? But if you control the controllables and you do what you're supposed to do, then that's all there is to it. Pressure isn't a thing. Not everybody's gonna hit the game winner every single time. But you can put systems in place to be as successful in those situations as humanly possible.
Okay, but so my question though is, why do some people fall apart then? I mean, it can't be that no pressure exists, right? Because some people fall apart and they don't score as much in this game as they used to in the game before or several games before because it's a bigger stage. Why do they fall apart? Like specifically, do you or
You,
do
an-
you
you answered your own question. I mean, you said it's a bigger stage. You said some people think more about this. Like that's what it is. Is the more you think about the situation that you're in, the higher likely you are to have not been prepared for the situation. So if you're not prepared for the situation, you're going to think about what could happen if you don't succeed or what if you don't X, Y, and Z. So then you're going to possibly not perform.
well, I think some people are carrying pressure that nobody ever sees, right? And so they walk onto the court and you have a frame of reference of how they used to play. They may have just had a family situation that day on top of whatever else happens. Nobody really sees that, right? And then the fans don't really want to hear that, right? They're just like, hey, he chose or she
Well,
chose, right? And I think sometimes that there is pressure there. And the level of the pressure can definitely affect how people operate. But I don't know if I agree that pressure isn't a thing. Devin, do you agree with that?
I think it exists as much as anything exists. I think you can find stats to suggest that people fold under the pressure the same way you can find stats to suggest that there's an advantage with a home versus away crowd. It's it's I think it's as much a factor as anything else in sports is to a lesser and varying degree. It depends on your criteria for s for statistical evidence, I think. If you say James Harden is a playoff joker and you cite his myriad of bad playoff performances, then you have a decent argument that pressure does exist. If you say he's not, and here are all the reasons why he's not, and this is proof that these circumstances were individual outliers, you have a case. The same is true for any kind of phenomenon in sports, really. It's kinda just there's too many variables to isolate it down to as something as simple as pressure exists or it doesn't. It does if you believe it does.
That's what that's
Mm.
that's what I'm saying essentially, is if you think about the moment, like, if you build it up a whole narrative to this moment, then pressure exists for you because 'cause you're creating pressure for yourself. If you just say, "This is another Tuesday, and I'm going to do what I have to do," that's what you do. Like when, Kobe left court, and he left court for his, allegations in what was it, '07, Devon? '07? It might have been
I think
earlier
it
than
was
that.
'08. I think it was '08.
Yeah, '08 or '07. I think it was '07. And he leaves court, and you have to go to the game. He gets to the game at halftime, and he plays, and he hits the game winner. How can you do that? The only way you can do that is by separating who you are on the court from the things that are going on off the court. Like you said, mom, like, pressure doesn't exist if you don't if you don't allow it to exist. You allow it to exist, and it will penetrate everything that you do.
Okay, but I think the counter that actually also supports my argument, which is that pressure is not fake, but neither is what it does to a person, right? The question really is how much you let it do to you, right? And if you're able to separate it effectively, then I think that's kind of what the greats do based on the explanation you just gave. But I
Right.
don't know that that negates the fact that it exists. I think it just talks to the point about what you let it do to you, how much you're able to separate it from you when you're performing. That I think is a conversation right there. Everybody wants greatness until they see what it costs. Go ahead.
I still think pressure doesn't exist. It exists healthily in society in certain aspects. So I would say or we create it in certain aspects, like, on purpose. And I'd say, like, in sports, people create it, but it's not really a thing from an individual to individual athlete. You choose whether or not you want to accept that. But I think
Mm,
in real life, right? Like, is there pressure when you have to take care of your kids and you have to do all this kind of stuff? I mean, yeah, just real world consequences for
mhm,
you not acting or taking care of your children, or like saving your child from, let's say your child's drowning. Like, it's not like there's not pressure in this situation.
okay.
There are real life consequences, and there are in basketball too, or in football or in sports. But I think you perform better when you don't think about that, when that doesn't affect your purview. But I think in other times, I think it's totally acceptable.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about when is the first time you experienced pressure? Hi, I'm Rochelle. You're watching What Your Mama Didn't Tell You, the podcast. If you like what you're hearing, please comment, like, and subscribe. Can you remember that, Devon?
Probably like an exam in school or something.
Okay. And how do you feel like you dealt with it in that moment?
I can't think of a specific moment. I think the pressure that you're talking about is just like essentially like the fear of failure and the fear of disappointing the people around you. I think it's a very
Uh-huh.
human thing and a very natural thing. I don't think anyone could accurately tell you the first time they felt any sort of pressure. I mean, it exists to varying degrees in all of our minds, I think, that fear of failure. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you, but I think probably the way I dealt with it was by trying to push through it and get done what I needed to get done.
Reese, what about you?
I mean, I'm sure in certain, maybe sports
In
game, but
in sports, maybe?
I don't think I was ever really like somebody who folded under pressure. I think I've always been pretty clutch. Like, I don't think I never thought about. I don't think I never got scared about, like, taking, like, a last minute or, like, a last, like, second shot, like, or, like, worrying about missing it. like, because I was so in the moment about, like, trying to win, like, and doing whatever it takes to win. So, not really focused more on, like, the winning than I am about the moment or what happens as an outcome of the moment, if that makes sense.
You bite your nails for a reason, right?
Yeah, but
Maybe it's
that's
a
what I'm anxious.
form of maybe it's emotional pressure.
I don't bite my nails during a game, though.
Yeah, I get it. You don't bite your nails during games, but you do bite it. And sometimes maybe that's associated with pressure that you may be feeling a different way emotionally, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know
Like
I
the
don't know if
fact that you can't
pressure.
even remember when you first felt pressure is interesting, right? Because that's how ingrained it is.
I mean, I don't know, I just don't think, like, what's pressure? Like, for me, I've been anxious. I started biting my
Mhm,
nails, I think, because I was anxious, which means that you're
mhm,
worried about the future, or you're worried about
mhm,
something that could happen.
right.
And I think that's just a normal human emotion, and I think it was amplified for me just in life. So I'd say I probably felt anxious for the first time I was really, really young, probably, like, 4 or 5, like, it was
Okay.
when I first felt anxious. Um, but I'd say other than that, pressure as I guess society describes it, I don't think I really feel that too often.
I would say when I came to America the first time, because I was in a totally different environment, and it's funny because I was even playing basketball before that in Africa, and I felt like you, Reese, I felt very comfortable on the court, and so I don't know that I can say I felt pressure on the basketball court, but I did feel pressure the first time I came to the United States, and that pressure was to fit in and
Mm,
to like figure out this whole new scenario I was in that was completely different, right? And that stressed me out because it was new people, it was me speaking differently, it was different weather, and it was me feeling like I this was not the normal nucleus that I was used to being a part of, that I was kind of plopped into, and then expected to perform at the same level as I was at home in Liberia, grades wise, um, you know, the behavior wise, and all of that with that huge a change. So I felt very pressured in that situation. And I didn't survive it well. I ended up going back in 3 months because it was too much for me to do all at once in that time frame and the amount of things I needed to do. So
that's wild, um, and interesting, 'cause you don't seem to me like the kind of person to be, like, worried about, fitting in to a place. Um, yeah, I find that interesting, 'cause it's not something I don't know if that's something Devon worries about, but for me, I've never worried about fitting into a certain place. Or, like, there's times where I've noticed that I don't fit into a place, and, like, knowing that and, like, feeling weird about that is one thing, but I never, like, wanted to fit in or, like, would, try and fit in. So it's interesting that you say that because I never got that vibe from you or that, like, I never got that. So I was surprised to hear you say
yeah,
that.
well, that was then. This is now. Devin, what about you? What's your reaction
Yeah,
to
I
that?
mean yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense given your circumstance. Moving to a new country, that probably a lot of pressure to, like, fit in and to be ingratiated into the culture. Yeah, I also
Right.
have never I mean, I've never really felt pressure around that, around fitting in, really not consciously at least.
Mhm.
Normally I've just been focused on trying to be myself and make sure that I'm allowed to be myself without, prosecution for that. That's always been my main concern, not really fitting in that way, I guess. I guess it's a different form of the same fear, probably.
Do you think there was ever a time that you were under pressure that I did not notice?
I mean, I don't know what you've noticed, but I was under pressure during my during the time I went to transfer. I was under pressure during the time I
Yeah.
was going to college. I was under extreme pressure. When my dad died, I was under extreme pressure. Starting high school, but to a way lesser extent, I was under a lot of pressure several times throughout my life. Yeah.
Mm. Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
And how do you think your tolerance for pressure over time got better, or do you think the compounding of it made it harder?
I think it definitely got better. I think I improved at being able to handle that pressure without trying to look for ways to mitigate it. I think now I kinda just sort of push through it.
Mm. What do you tell yourself to push through it?
About well, I normally just tell myself I've seen worse. Um,
Mm,
I normally just tell myself, "Yeah, I've been in worse spots," and I remember the times when I've been in worse spots, and it makes me feel fine about where I'm at now. I think it's gonna be hard for me in the future to be in worse spots than I've been in my life, so it's comforting for me to tell myself that.
Record your next podcast at Control Room, Jersey City's premier podcast studio.
that's strong. What about you, Reese?
Like, I feel like my whole life has been like that. Like, I feel like I've lived my whole life, like, under the pressure of some expectation, maybe even my
Okay.
own, and maybe others, like, are feeling like I have to do things for family or feel like a whole bunch of like, I feel like I've always been under what other people call pressure. So to me, it's not pressure, it's just my life. Like, I don't
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? If that does that make sense?
yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
don't think about it like pressure, like, I don't think about it like, at this time, like, this was how like, like, obviously, the times are more, like, stress-inducing than others. There's more
Mhm.
things going on when dad was sick. Um, yeah, the late 2010s were hectic. Um,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of stuff going on. I'm
Uh-huh.
sure those times were stress-inducing, but these times are just as stress-inducing, but in different ways. Um,
Mm.
so I don't know. I don't I feel like always I've always been under pressure of something.
So let me ask you this question. Do you feel like having a high achieving parent or parents make you have a higher threshold for pressure because you see it more? Or
No,
I don't
I think you have a lower threshold for pressure, to be honest.
really.
I think people with high achieving parents think that that's pressure, but I think real pressure is not knowing where your food is coming from. I think
Mhm.
the fallacy that because your parent did something, so you must do something is real world pressure is just that, a fallacy. I don't think it's real. I think that's societal pressure. Real pressure comes from your needs not being met.
So not having food. I love that. I love that. Thank you, God. I'm glad that's the case. Reese, what about you?
It's not really much for me to think about. I don't really relate to it. I don't think that like I obviously you guys achieved a lot. Yeah, in some ways I grew up feeling kind of disconnected to it. Yeah, it didn't really like directly influence like everything that like I thought and I did because I can see it and I can sense it now, like kind of like older. But
Uh-huh.
when I was younger, like the person that I am is not really because of you guys being high achievers, unfortunately, just by circumstance.
That's great.
Yeah.
At least you're not influenced by you still feel like you can find your own path, which I think is
Yeah.
important. I think that parents don't always know what their kids are carrying, right? And sometimes we think we're encouraging the child when we think we're encouraging you, but sometimes some children may hear, I better not fail. And failure is not an option, right? And sometimes parents are under pressure to, like we just had a conversation this morning, and I communicated to you some pressure that I'm under, right? Parents are under pressure too, so they pass that on without even meaning to do it, right? So I think that that can happen as well. And sometimes if you're not communicating that, you may accidentally pass it on and not even know that's happening, if that's a thing, right? And I think that can be a thing. So let's get into NBA and let's talk about NBA pressure, right? Because we're now in the conference semifinals, right? And things are getting heating up real hot, hot, hot. Let's talk first, Devin, about your Knicks versus the 76ers. And let's talk about the pressure there. Now, when they play in Madison Square Garden, clearly there's pressure, right? What do you think? How do you think your team is going to hold up under pressure? Are they built for this based on where they are right now?
I would say so. I mean, I think, they've had an up and down season, regular season that is, but in the postseason, they've been nothing short of dominant. I think they've been the best postseason team that has been the Thunder. To be honest, I think they've, I mean, outside of like really one game against the Hawks, they've dominated every game they've played so far. So
Mhm.
I think they've definitely risen to the moment, and hopefully we can go close this out in this game, and if not this game, next game. Give some of our key players like OG and Anubi some time to get healthy, and yeah, move forward with the Pistons, who I like our chances against.
All right. So, I mean, y'all are up 3-0, so it looks like you should be able to lock this up soon, if not this game, but next game. Is this game in the Garden or is it next game?
This game is in Philadelphia.
Ah, okay. So maybe you'll lock it up there. Maybe you have one more and come back to the Garden, or both in Philly.
No, the next game after this game today is in New York.
Right. I'm feeling like Philly's gonna take this one. Y'all gonna come back to the Garden to close it off. Reese, what do you think?
I think the Knicks have to be careful, 3-0 comeback never happened, but it's still possible, so
I
rooting for
love
Philly,
that.
you know.
Oh, that's funny. You better root for your brother. What about the Pistons Cavs? Right. So it's a 2-1 series. It could get tied up. Who you calling there?
I'm gonna say the Pistons are gonna win in 6.
Why? Because I want to go back to our pressure theme, right? Do you feel like they're more built for that right
I
now?
think
And if so, why?
I think although they're younger and they have maybe less playoff experience, I just think they're a better team. And
Okay.
being up 2-1 is a big advantage because you can kind of just go 1 for 2 in the next 2 games, and put
Mhm.
yourself in a good position because you have home court advantage.
Right.
So you just need to not drop the next 2 games, and I think they'll be fine.
Anybody you like
Uh,
on the Pistons? Not really. What about the
uh,
Cavs?
Cade is
You were saying
good.
Brown was gonna go back to the Cavs, bro.
He might.
Yeah, okay.
He's about to get swept.
W, you think he gonna get swept?
Yes.
They do lead 3-0. So what explains that big a swing, right? Because in the previous series, it was the other way around for the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what explains that? Let's delve into that a little bit, right?
The
What
the
explains
the
that?
Thu the Thunder are one of the 3 greatest teams ever.
Ever?
Yep.
How you come up with that? Debbie, you agree with that?
No.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy.
It's
How
true.
do you come up with ever?
You mean you're
Statistically.
talking about just NBA? You talking about NBA teams?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that's not true.
Devin, name your top 3.
The 2000 Lakers. They lost one game all postseason, and it was to the
And have
MVP.
the Thunder are about to be 8-0.
The Thunder have
What are you
already
talking
lost.
about
The
right now?
Thunder have already lost the Thunder have already lost a postseason game. They will lose another one. Like
What, they
the
lost to
Lakers
the
were
Suns?
literally. I think they might have. No, they didn't. They didn't
The
sweep the
Thunder
Suns. I don't
swept.
think.
Yeah, they
Did
did.
they?
Looking, puts up a 3, bang!
Okay, they did. If they go 16-1, I'll concede that they can be considered with the 2000 Lakers. Until they do that, absolutely not. And even before that, do you believe the 72 Bulls are better?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that the 2017 Warriors are better?
Yeah.
Do you believe the
The only thing
2018
we
Warriors are
disagree
better?
on the only thing we
Do you believe
disagree
that?
on is the
Do you believe the
2018.
2018? Do you believe the 2018 Warriors are better?
No, it's one of the 2. The 2017-2018 Warriors are
No, you
are
can pick
one of the
both of
best.
them. You said the
Huh?
best team. You can pick both of them. I can pick both of them.
Um,
I can just pick both of them.
yeah, no, I don't agree. I think
It's
2017-18
okay.
is better, but I don't think 2016-17 is better.
No, you mean the other way around. The 17 Lakers are better. The 17 Warriors are better than the 18 Warriors.
Okay, so that.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
they're both
So
better than the Thunder. They're both better than Thunder.
No, they're
That's
not.
ridiculous.
All
They
right,
had
bro.
2 top 5 players in the league. Either one of those teams are giving the
I
Thunder
don't care.
PTO.
I don't
You
care.
know, and I
Devin,
do. We're lying. We're
De
lying.
Devin,
We're lying. We're lying.
Devin, Devin,
We're
Devin,
lying. This is a
Devin.
lie. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Based off net defensive
This is
ratings,
a
net
lie.
offensive rating, just net ratings as a team in general. Here are the teams: 95, 96 Bulls, 72 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
96, 97 Bulls. The 2017-18 Warriors.
Okay.
And the Thunder.
So I don't care. I don't
Okay,
care.
so
I don't care.
okay, that's
I don't care.
that's
Not even a
but
little
you're the
bit.
statistic
Not
guy.
even a little.
You're the statistic
If
guy.
they had Steph and Kevin Durant, which are two top 3 players in the
I
world
don't
at the
care.
time on their team, along with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, give me them every time.
I don't care.
Every single time.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah,
disagree.
you should. You should. You should.
I
And even
don't
the fact
care.
that the 2000 Lakers are even like the fact that we're even talking about the 2000 Lakers is crazy. Like they're a top. The Thunder this year are maybe a top. They have to get past the Spurs. You don't think they'll lose a game to the Spurs? Do you not believe
No.
that that's going to happen?
Whoever they play in the finals, they're sweeping.
No, that isn't true either.
Because you're a Knicks fan, that's why
That
you say
isn't.
that. All right,
No,
cool.
because
That's
it's
fine.
not true. Last year when they played in the finals,
they're whooping the
Pacers
Pistons
played
4-0.
7
They're
games.
beating the Cavs 4-0. They're beating the Knicks 4-0. That's just real life.
They've played the Suns with Devin Booker, which was a play-in team, and they played the Lakers, who don't have their best player. If they weren't doing this, we'd be concerned. If there were any games
Even if
dropped, we'd be concerned.
They
haven't played a single good team yet in the postseason. They haven't played a team that's. They haven't played. They played the two, maybe they played perhaps 2 of the bottom 5 teams in the postseason. Would you agree with that?
Everybody has.
No, the Thunder have. We haven't. We've played 2 of the top 4 teams or top 6 teams in the postseason, I would say.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Who'd you play first round? The Hawks?
Yes, the Hawks. Who's better, the Hawks? Who's better, the Hawks? Who's better, the Hawks or the Suns? Who's better, the Hawks or the Suns? Reese. Who's better, the Hawks or the Suns? And if you want to use net rating, use it to prove the Suns are better.
Obviously, the Hawks.
Who's better, who's better, the 76ers with Embiid or the Lakers without Luka Doncic? Let me think. What are you talking about? They beat the Reese. You don't even believe that. There's no way you believe the Lakers without Luka Doncic are better than the ones that beat the 3 seed Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum returned? Yes. Yeah, right.
Yes.
You're lying. This is propaganda. You're lying. You're literally lying. You don't believe that. You don't believe that.
I'm
so
serious. I'm so serious.
No part of you believes that. No part of you believes that.
Time out.
No part of you believes that. No part of you believes that. No part of you. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. They weren't even better this year in statistics, and they didn't have Joel Embiid for most of the year. You don't believe that. You don't believe that.
It's okay, bro. You can be honest with the fact that in the East,
you don't believe that.
Finals,
so Reese, let him talk.
In the Western Conference Finals, first off, the Spurs have to get past the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's their first order of business.
The Thunder would lose the game to the Timberwolves too.
If they can do that,
they would.
Then when we get to the conference finals, they're dropping at most 2. No, at least 2. At least 2. They're dropping at least 2. So if they drop at least 2, let's say they lose 2 games, they win 4, they get out in 6 against the Spurs. The Spurs are young, that's possible.
So wait, Reese, how about this? Who are the 2 worst teams in the Western Conference playoffs? Who are the 2 worst teams in the Western Conference playoffs?
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
They finished. They play the Western Conference Finals. Let's say they win 4-2. They get to the finals. If they're playing the Pistons, if they're playing the Cavs, you agree that if they play the Cavs, it's a sweep, right?
Okay.
Do you agree on that?
No, I don't. No, that's not going to happen. So Reese, how about this? Let's do it this way. Of the teams in the Western Conference postseason, who's better, the Nuggets or the Lakers?
This year?
Yes, in the postseason. Who's better?
The Lakers.
Reese.
That's not crazy.
Reese.
That's not crazy.
Reese. The Lakers without Luka Doncic would have beaten the Nuggets in a 7-game series.
Without Luka?
Yes. Come on, bro. Be real. Be real. Let's be real. They would have beaten the best player in the world. Let's cut the bullshit, man. Let's cut the bullshit, man.
No. Okay,
let's cut the bullshit.
Here's the issue with us doing that.
No, there's no issue with us doing that. That's what I'm talking about.
There is because did Jokic play bad, or did he get locked up by Rudy?
He got locked up by Rudy. That's what happened. That's what actually
You
happened.
sure? Are you
Against
sure?
the Lakers, Reese,
Are you, are you
my
sure?
brother, Reese,
You can't prove that.
Reese,
You can't prove
DeAndre
that.
Ayton is manning,
Oh, Jokic had
Reese.
You
This
can't
is
prove
silly.
that.
We're being
You can't
silly.
prove
We're being
that.
silly.
You
So
can't prove
this
that.
is
he just stopped deciding to play
guys.
well.
This is a good
Reese,
example
that's
of what I'm
silly.
talking about,
That's so
right?
silly. That's so silly. That's so silly.
If a guy averages 30 points all season long, right? People start calling him a fraud after 2 games, right? This is exactly what I'm
No,
talking about from a
no.
pressure perspective.
Reese doesn't.
They
No,
joke.
no. Reese doesn't believe what he's saying. He just doesn't want to lose his argument. That's what's actually happening. Reese knows.
No, I
Reese
think
knows
the
that
Lakers.
no,
I think the Lakers would. I think the Lakers
I'm
without
not
Luka
done. I'm
would
not done.
lose
I'm
to
not
the
done.
Nuggets. I do.
Okay, Reese,
Yeah,
But
because
to
you
be
get
honest,
the L.
but to be honest, in
Reese
the same
knows
breath,
that Reese knows.
the Hawks are not a top 6 team in the playoffs.
Reese. Okay, so I have them up here. Right? I have them up here.
That's not true.
Let's be for real about what happened. The Trailblazers beat the Suns, right? In the play-in,
Right.
Did they not beat them? Okay,
Right.
so they're better than the Suns, right? So the Suns were the worst team in the Western Conference playoffs. Correct or incorrect?
Yes.
Okay, so the Lakers. Let's
The
see. Were
lowest
the
seeded
Lakers
team.
better than the Trailblazers? Were the Lakers better than the Trailblazers? Probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were they better than the Timberwolves?
The Lakers.
Yes. Are they? No, they're not. They're not better than the Timberwolves. Let's get that out of the way.
Are you
Are
sure?
they better than the Rockets? Reese.
They're both those teams are better than the Rockets. The Lakers and the
Lakers
Timberwolves
are
both
better.
than
The Lakers are better than the Rockets, probably the Trailblazers, and probably the Suns. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So
those
they
are 3
are
confirmed that we can say.
They're not better than the Timberwolves, Reese. You know it, and
I just said those are 3 that
we're
are
being
confirmed.
ridiculous.
Hey, why can't we just move on?
Yeah. Okay. No, because those are the only.
We
Those are
gotta
the only
move
3.
on.
They're not better
We
than the
gotta
Timberwolves.
move
They're
on.
not better than the Spurs. They're not better than the Thunder. Those are all facts. We know that they're not.
What are the
They're
other
not better
teams
than
in
the
the West?
Nuggets?
There's other teams
That's
in
a
the Western
fact.
Conference playoffs.
They're not better. Are they better than the Thunder, Reese?
There should be 5 teams left. If we just said that they're better than 3, and
No, there's 4
they're
left.
the 5th.
There's 4 left.
There's
8.
4
There's
left.
8
So
teams.
what are the other 4? The Thunder.
The Thunder. You just agreed they're not better than the Nuggets. We know they're not better than the Thunder. We know they're not better than the Spurs, and we know they're not better than the Timberwolves. That's it. Those are all the teams.
Yeah, I can't.
They
say
were the
about
4th best team in the West. They played the 8th. They played the worst team in the Western Conference playoffs, and they played the 4th best team in the
Wait,
Western
the
Conference
Lakers are
playoffs.
seated
And
higher
the entire.
than the Timberwolves.
So what? So what, Reese?
No,
So what?
your whole argument's a logical fallacy. If you're saying so
Reese,
what? Are you
Reese.
serious?
No,
You just
Reese,
told me-
Reese,
no,
Reese,
no,
Reese,
no, no,
Reese,
no, hell
Reese,
no.
Reese.
You're not getting away with that. You're not getting away with that.
It's not a
You
logical
just
fallacy,
no.
Reese.
No.
Let's live in the real world. You don't believe that they're better. You don't believe that they're better. You don't believe. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I
You just said to me. You just said to me that because the Trailblazers beat the Suns, that we can say we can say in good faith that the Trailblazers are better than the Suns. That the Suns are the worst team in the Western Conference.
Fine.
In the Western Conference playoffs.
Okay.
So
Reese,
the Lakers are not better than the Timberwolves. That's a logical fallacy.
Reese. Okay, Reese. No, that's fine. So
Concede
die
that.
on that hill then. If Reese, that's fine. So the Trailblazers are the 2nd worst team in the Western Conference playoffs. Does that work better for you?
The Trailblazers?
Or the Suns. Let's say the Suns are better even though they lost in the plan. Let's say even though in single game elimination, the Suns are better for who knows, right?
Better than who?
Right?
Than who?
Or than the Trailblazers, right? Isn't that what you want to say?
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how the Lakers are better than the Timberwolves using your logic.
No, Reese.
The Lakers are a higher seed than the Timberwolves. I'm not talking about the Trailblazers Suns. I'm just pointing out the logical fallacy of what you
You can't
said.
talk over each other. You can't talk over each other.
Reese. I'm not saying that the Trailblazers are better than the Suns because of standings. I'm saying the Trailblazers are better than the Suns because they played an elimination game and lost to them. That's why I'm saying the Trailblazers are better than the Suns. Because they played in a postseason environment and lost. The Lakers have not played the Timberwolves. Reese, let me finish, please. If we're being honest with ourselves and talking man to man, we both don't think the Lakers would win that series without Luka Doncic. Neither of us do. We don't. That's what I'm having an actual conversation. You're trying to argue about why the Thunder are better than they actually are. We haven't seen them do much this postseason. That's fine to say. It's fine to say that. They'll be tested against the Spurs, and we'll see if you're right or we'll see if you're not. But none of the facts that we've seen up until this point about the Thunder prove that they're better than the 2001 Lakers. None of it. We have no evidence for
Well,
that. You just would
I
like to
think we're
believe that
gonna
we
have an
do.
answer
We
real.
have
I think
statistics.
we have an answer real soon on whether
On
we
the
have
regular
statistics.
season.
Current
On the regular
best.
season. On the regular season. There's been plenty of teams with great regular seasons. It doesn't mean shit to
Devon,
me.
put two and two
Honest.
together. If you have stats
Right,
on the
that
regular
to me.
season, if you have a net rating from the regular season that shows the 95-96 Bulls, the 96-97 Bulls championship, the 2017-2018 Warriors as the top 3 teams on it, and the
Where's the
Spurs and the
2016
Thunder are
Warriors?
4.
Where's the
Is that not a
2016
good
Warriors?
indication
Where's
of
the
who's going to win the
2016 Warriors?
championship?
Where's the 2016
Devin,
Warriors?
let him
Where are the
talk.
2016 Warriors?
Obviously, their standing wasn't that high because they were a better regular season team than they were a postseason team. So, I mean, like,
Oh, so it's both
they obviously
combined.
didn't have
So
the
it's both
intangibles that
combined.
they needed to be that great of a team.
Reese,
And wins don't always show that.
Reese, you're comparing what they've done up until this point to teams that have finished. You're comparing them to teams who have won the championship already. That's not fair to the teams who have won the championship already.
All right, we'll see.
Because I bet you, if you stack them up against the 2015, wait, hold on. Now you want to end the conversation. If you compare them to the 2015, 2016 Warriors and their net rating, I'm sure they would look a lot. I'm sure that 2015, 16 Warriors regular season net rating was probably better, right or wrong?
Can I
No, it
just
just means
interject
that-
here for a second and
It just
say
means
that
that's less
nobody
competitive.
No, what? What does it even mean?
guys, okay, time out for real. Can I interject here and say that nobody has mentioned any team beyond the 2000s? And you're saying that they're the top 3, Reese. We ain't even go beyond 2000. Like,
What are you talking
You
about?
went to the 90s. You went to the 90s. So the 96 Bulls.
okay. But I'm thinking the Bulls are way up in there. I'm thinking the Lakers at one point are in there. I don't know how you get to number 3 for the Thunders. That's just crazy. That's straight up crazy. But
How
we
is
gonna
that
see
crazy?
we gonna see.
I don't think
They
it's
just won a
crazy. I
championship.
think
They haven't
I
lost.
don't
They
think it's
haven't lost
crazy.
the
I think
playoff
it's just
game.
inaccurate.
They haven't lost the play. Okay, so if they get through this
I
playoffs,
take back crazy and call it inaccurate. I take back crazy. I call it inaccurate, but I think it's
Okay,
inaccurate. Go ahead,
but you
Reese.
can't call it inaccurate because the numbers are saying it's true.
Okay,
No, they're not. No, they're not.
let's table this,
No,
and the
they're not.
stats will tell us otherwise. Let's table it.
Okay,
They're
it's fine.
not saying
It's fine. I want to say something to the people. Yo,
They're not
my
saying
cousins, I know they gonna clip this or whatever. They're gonna post this. All right, cool. We're gonna come back to this at the end of the season after what's all said and done and what happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can take it on the chest like a man.
You're gonna
But-
eat it.
I'm gonna eat it like a man. Feel me? Pause.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
but at the end of the day, like, come on. Come back to this. Y'all know what it is.
Okay. That being said, so do you think it's easy for fans to say players are not handling pressure? Do you think fans have a comfortable position from which they're speaking, like y'all are right now? Like, we're talking about which team was better, which team was not better, blah, 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 blah. Some of it had to do with the fact that certain teams choked under pressure towards the end when they weren't expected to. But fans obviously are always critiquing us. We are some of those fans. Do you think fans have an enviable position from which to speak because they're not on the court playing? Do you think fans can judge people under
Do I
pressure
think that's
on the court?
judge? I
Yeah.
think no.
Okay, why?
I think all this talk is just nonsense. I think it's just
Devin, what? Go ahead.
Sorry.
What do you say, Devin?
enviable position. I think I have trouble with the wording. It's not like this is how the sports is entertainment. It's entertainment.
Right.
That's what it is. This is an entertainment league. These are grown men playing a children's sport. It's not like we're not evaluating war. I mean, it's like there's not like it's not like the masses have stock in this any less so than the players who are performing in it. I think this is how it works. They wouldn't get paid if we didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If we didn't care enough to talk about things like pressure or home versus away or who's better or putting them up against the greatest teams ever, then if we didn't care enough to talk about that, then they wouldn't be playing. They'd be doing something else. So
Okay.
it's a relationship that needs to exist. There needs to be fans who care enough to talk about it, and there needs to be athletes who don't care what those fans have to say. Otherwise, none of the whole system doesn't work.
I love it. Reese, anything to add, or you completely agree?
I completely agree, but I feel like just like as me being who I am, I don't feel like I'm like I don't know, I don't feel like I participate. Like, obviously I participate in like watching the thing more as a student of it rather than like as a fan of it. I
Uh-huh.
think I understand. Like if I'm watching it, I'm watching it because I feel like a peer to it. Or like
Uh-huh.
it's something that I'm involved in. I feel that's what I'm involved in. Um, so yeah, I think I don't see myself as a fan of the sport of basketball. I see myself as a participator
And a student.
and a
So
student.
so going back to the Knicks Sixers series, and them going to Philly, everybody knows the Philly crowd ain't no joke. Pressure is heavy is in Philly when you show up, especially this time of year. The crowd feels heavy. Because of that, I'm predicting that the Knicks are gonna lose tonight, Devin. I hope you don't feel away, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't care.
You don't care? Good. Reese, do you agree?
Um, I think the Sixers are gonna whoop y'all.
Oh God.
No,
All right, so let's
I've really just been trolling this whole round, like, cause I was at school and I was talking to my Knicks fans, and I was just trolling them, like, yeah, like Sixers are about to whoop y'all, da 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 da. Whole time I know in the back of my head, like, they're not about to win this series, but
No, I
yeah.
get it. I mean, I think when your team isn't super good, I think it's really
are
fun
you
to
serious
like
right now?
troll it. Like
Are you serious
As
right
a
now?
Knicks fan, like there was a lot of times where like we weren't super good, so I get it. Like I fully understand. Um,
Are you
but
dead ass right now?
having been on both sides of the curtain, I think this side is probably a little bit more fun. But you'll get there one
Bro,
day.
That was good. That was the most classy thing I ever heard in a long time. Well, you know he had
It's
to
the
take it on
truth.
the
It's the
chin.
truth.
He had to take
It's
it
the
on the chin
truth.
all NFL season, so
I mean, there's been
he
several
gotta get
NBA
it in.
seasons where I've watched and we haven't been good. So I mean, I get it. I get it. It's boring
That
otherwise. You gotta find some way
that
to
was
get invested in the
classic.
game.
There you go. That was hilarious. Oh, that was good. Debbie, you get the something, whatever the award is. What your mama didn't tell you. Throw shade award for that one. That was really very good. Pistons v Cavs. Who do you have, Devin?
Talking about in the series, okay. I'm
Yeah, this
going
year.
with the Pistons.
that's it.
Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, 76ers. I'm Knicks. Devin, you're Knicks. Reese, what are you?
76ers.
Of course. Thunder v Lakers. It's a
Thunder.
no-brainer. Thunder, after all the conversation we've had. Spurs v Timberwolves. 2-1 the series right now.
Spurs.
Timberwolves.
I'm going to be the tiebreaker and go with the Spurs. All right, that's a wrap. What your mama didn't tell you, the basketball edition.
Alright,
Uh, Can I get my happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
I'm
Bye. Hi, I'm Racheal. You're watching What Your Mama Didn't Tell You, the podcast. If you like what you're hearing, please comment, like, and subscribe.